Hello, this is Carly Foster, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my perspective on development in the village of Warwick. So our community is affected by development both within and outside of the village's municipal boundary. And there's a different story, context, as well as concerns associated with each of those. So I'm going to talk about each of them separately. For growth within the village, the village of Warwick is nearly built out. After the next two subdivisions, which are in the planning process, we would mostly be growing and changing through annexations and infill development and redevelopment. There are a variety of ways infill development in our community could both help with affordability and steward the character of the village. And the village is in a unique position because it is somewhat urbanized, and in order to protect the rural character of the rest of our community, we may need to be creative about our infill development, while also heavily protecting our park and open space. There are areas within the village that are in need of redevelopment. We have upper floors of commercial properties that are underutilized, and the Comp Plan Committee has been talking about ideas to support maximizing affordability and use of this available space. It will also be critical to ensure heavy community engagement in any major new changes. I think the biggest challenge and also opportunity within the village is mobility and related land use and economic development decisions that can support it. I talk a little bit about walkability in another video. But cars are a big sticking point here, as in most places, right? Parking for them, how fast they're going in our neighborhoods, the threats they pose to our pets, children, cyclists, how much space they need, how much traffic they create, but also how long it takes us to get to the places we need to go, how far we have to drive to get there, and whether we have the space that we need for the cars that we have. There's a long-standing and increasing tension there. More people in the village and in the area at large currently means more cars and more people that have to drive to ShopRite or Price Chopper to have their basic needs met. So if we're able to start making use of underutilized second and third floors downtown for housing, for example, that means more need for parking. So a big interest of mine is walkability and accessibility, which I've already talked about. And to maintain our quality of life and even improve it, we have to help maximize the number of people that can get their basic needs met without ever needing to start the engine, and also to improve our mobility options as well as our relationship with the needs of vehicles in other ways so that we don't have to create more paved space for more cars. So we need close attention to land use, walkability, mobility, communications infrastructure, and sewer and stormwater infrastructure as we grow. And affordability will continue to grow in concern. The Comprehensive Planning Committee is looking at all of these things, and the plan we're working on now will be an important lever to steward the character of our community in the future. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about my thoughts on growth adjacent to the village. We're a relatively small community set within a much broader context and region. It is near, the village of Warwick is near a major metropolitan area that's covered in concrete, it's coastal. There are communities not too far from us that have 99% impervious surface. And those areas are seeing a lot of flood-related risk and impacts as well from the pandemic. And people in those areas are also being freed up simultaneously with the need to commute to an office. We could see even more growth pressure on the region and our community than we're seeing now. And we already have tensions around this. On top of the social factors, more people also means more impervious surface. Impervious surface is basically another word for concrete if we don't manage it correctly. And more concrete means more heat and worse management of rainfall, more stress and impact on infrastructure. This means that we're interdependent with the town and the broader region. We exist within a broader watershed, and we need to be part of those conversations with the town, the county, and the state. Continued use of PDR, for example, to protect both our character, our open space, and our food sheds, sort of, another word for our agricultural areas, will be important. Facilitating agriculture and local commerce, strategic use of high density areas in the region, and creative transportation solutions will also be critical. I also mentioned in another video that better connected communities recover and respond much more quickly. Smart growth is sustainable and resilient for a lot of reasons. So what will I do? I'm going to work to resolve the tensions between growth and stewardship through engagement and also pursuits of policy. This is a really expanding area right now. A lot of areas are struggling with these same challenges. So looking at policies that might recognize that the two, growth and stewardship, don't necessarily need to have their needs be mutually exclusive. Thank you, and I really hope that you come out and vote on March 15th. I'm Carly Foster for trustee.